Oh my goodness. Everything took longer than I thought. All right. I was in line when I started this, second person, and it took me half an hour to get through the line. So I apologize for starting so late. Uh, I thought I would be able to get into a parking space and talk to you. So I want to talk about body count. And you're going to get to watch me eat some too because I'm starving. I'm out running errands and getting food, and I had to get a new journal, my new self-care journal. I think I showed it in another video, but here is the new one. I'm going to start with it tonight when I get home. And I stopped at Panera because I was starving. So here I am, finally ready to begin my live about body count. All right. So let's get to some of the basics first. Body count is something that men are trying to use as leverage and a method to manipulate women. Okay. And I'm going to tell you how the scenario is going right now. Basically, what they're saying is that, oh, well, you got a high body count. So your requirements of a man should be much lower because you have a high body count. So if you have a high body count, you cannot expect that a man will treat you very well. You cannot have high expectations from a man because you're used goods. All right. And this is from what I've seen in lives, from what I've watched in podcasts. And this is all from the Redpill and Manosphere world of men, particularly men who look like this. Men of other cultures don't really talk about this. On occasion, I will see men of other cultures chiming in on these men's lives, but quite frankly, they don't even do it on their own because they know how useless it is, and all it does is turn women off when they start bringing it up. So it is primarily for men who look like us. Okay. And so the way things go is they say, oh, you should be glad that any man wants to date you at all because you have a high body count. You cannot have all of these requirements of men. You should not have any standards whatsoever for men because you're used goods. All right. And they try and devalue women based on their body count, based on how many men they've slept with. All right. And so conversely, what they talk about is that, oh, well, women who have slept with very few men, very young women who have very low body counts are more valuable. All right. Never mentioning that those women don't want to date any of the men who are red pill manosphere. And you have to remember, red pill manosphere men are the men that women are not dating. Okay. Most men who are really good with women, they don't even use red pill manosphere. They don't even know what it is. Okay. They laugh in the face of red pill manosphere men because they are nothing more than a joke. Okay. So these red pill manosphere men are getting together and they're talking and they're saying, oh, you know, we think that women's standards are too high because they've already had sex with men, and because they've already had sex with men, then their value as women is less. All right. Now, just to make my position clear, as far as I'm concerned, all of this is baloney, BS, and crap. All right. They're talking out the side of their neck. Most red pill manosphere men can't even get a date. All right. That is why they go on these podcasts, trying to get, women to talk to them. And if you have a woman with high standards who says, I'm going to be treated well, and I refuse to put up with men's crap one way or the other, and I have high standards, and what happens is these men are now going, oh, I thought it would be easy because they are listening to Red Pill Manosphere, which is telling them do this, that, and the other thing. Okay. And then they go and women are like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to date you. You have no social conscious. You don't know how to talk to women. You've been living in your mama's basement. Your life is not together. Yada, yada, yada. So all women are saying out loud, we do not want to date you. And so these men become radicalized into the red pill manosphere world. All right. I'm going to see if I can Oh, get it a little bit. Look at this. How do I get it to squeeze down? I think that's a little bit better. All right, so I'm not so up in your face. All right, so that's what these men are thinking. And so the body count is one of the many things that they talk about in order to devalue women. So they're also talking about women who have a lot of education are useless. Women who are overweight are useless. Women who are over 28 are useless. Women who are dark skinned are useless. And the list is just, exhaustive of all these things that they try and devalue women with. All right. And body count is in there. So we're going to talk about body count. Now, I watched a wonderful video early this morning that a lady did, and it was excellent. And when I heard it, I was like, okay, I already believed that this was crap, but the way she explained it was so much better. I was like, okay, let's do a live about this. Now, when I publish this, I'll put a link in the notes so that you can see who she is. I believe she's called Canadian Dating Coach. I believe that's what it is. But she's over on TikTok. That's where I saw that at. And what she basically says is, okay, women are looking for certain things in men, all right? And one of the things that we're looking for is a man that's open-minded, who understands I have my own bodily autonomy. That means my body belongs to me. I'm going to do what I want with it. I'm going to make my own choices, and I'm going to sleep with who I want. And if you are not a man who understands that, you are not my preference. I don't want to date you. So when men come along and they say, well, you got a high body count and I don't like that, what that does is that now puts the man on a list of these are men we don't want to date, because you have to understand, I have my own bodily autonomy. What I did before I met you doesn't have anything to do with you, right? I want an open-minded man who understands that my body belongs to me every day of my life. I make choices about who I sleep with. Number two, we want a man who is understanding that, hey, you got a life before, I got a life before, and that should not matter. Who you dated before is not my business, and who I dated before is not your business. So we're looking for men who understand that. We're looking for men who are kind, men who are open-minded, and these are the only men we want to date. And men who are talking about women's body count are not men that any of us want to date. So when we hear a man start talking about body count, and what he typically will say, and what he said in the video is, my preference is to date women who have a low body count. And her answer was, fine. Date women who have a low body count. I have already decided that because body count is something that you look at, you are not qualified to date me. Okay? Now I'm gonna say that again because it probably sounds a little weird. When you discuss, when the man, this is the woman talking, she's talking to the man. And in your discussion, when a man brings up that body count is important to him, I as a woman say, you know what? I prefer not to date men who think that my body count is important. It's none of your business. It's none of your concern. I won't discuss it. And because you think it's so important, that disqualifies you as a man to date me. So when you bring it up and you say, it's important to me and I need to know, the first thing out of my mouth will be, oh, well, okay. I totally understand your position. That's your preference and that's fine. But let's keep it moving because you no longer qualify to date me. I refuse to date men who think that body count is important. Okay? A man who brings it up, who wants to talk about it, who wants to discuss it, or who thinks it is important is not a man I would ever date. Just like I will not date a man who is cruel or who is physically violent or who is mean to me, cusses at me. All those things disqualify a man from being able to date me. And just like those things, a man who thinks my body count is important does not qualify to date me. So as soon as it comes out of a man's mouth, you tell him, oh, you know what? I totally understand that is your preference, but you're not my preference either. So we can stop right here and we can just part ways. I'll go my way and you go your way. Because because of your need to know my body count and my desire to never tell you, we do not match. I'm not changing my position. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you because it's none of your business. My body count is my business and my business alone. And so I don't have to discuss it with you. And the fact that you are so concerned about it, that you think it's important, that you want to discuss it, disqualifies you to date me. And when I heard that, I thought, that is absolutely perfect. That is exactly the way it should be. Now, the gentleman who she was talking to, he really didn't have an answer for that. Okay, his answer was, but what about my preference? And she said, your preference is fine. I'm not arguing with your preference. You can have your preference, but my preference is I don't date men who care about my body count. And so since I don't meet your preference and you don't meet my preference, we are going to part ways right here. There's no point to go further. We don't need to talk about anything else. There's nothing else to discuss. We are not a match and we need to go our separate ways. And what was funny is she must have said that like 3 times and he kept going about, but what about my preference? What about my... We don't care about your preference. Your preference about talking about body count disqualifies you from dating me. And so we can stop right here. There's nothing else to talk about. Hi, Spinderella. Ninchama, how are you? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in my notes at all. They disqualify themselves, okay? So when a man insists on knowing what your body count is, when he insists on talking about it. Now, my theory is that, okay, the reason they want to talk about body count is to, number one, intimidate women, to diminish a woman, try and make her feel bad about herself, and to exert some level of control over her. Oh, you have a high body count. You shouldn't have such high requirements for a man because you're used goods. When we say, you know what, my body count's none of your business, none of those things can happen, okay? You can't exert any control over me. Your opinion, I'm telling you right now, your opinion of me doesn't matter because you don't even qualify to date me. And trying to get me to think less of myself, yeah, that's not working because I'm not supporting that. Not even a little bit, all right? And so when you tell them flat out, you know what? No, we're not going to discuss my body count. Oh, I understand your preference. Your preference is a woman with a low body count. And I don't have a problem with that, okay? However, your desire, your need, your want to know, and the fact that it is important to you what my body count is, disqualifies you from dating me. I will not date you. There's nothing to talk about. We don't have anything else to discuss. And so let's suppose that you're talking on the phone with a gentleman and he brings it up. Well, you know, I don't like women with high body counts. Really? Oh, well, okay. So we really don't have anything else to talk about because any man that wants to discuss my body count, even discuss it, does not qualify to date me. Just like an abuser, just like a man who's mean to me, just like a man who's stingy, want to go 50-50, got 20 kids, 18 babies. None of those men qualify to date me. And neither do you, Mr. Who needs to know my body count. Now, does anybody have any questions about that? Because I thought this was a brilliant response. Now, in her video, she talks about all of the qualifications, the things that she wanted a man to be. And her list was fairly long, but it was things like being kind, being open-minded, being gentlemanly, be a good listener, being able to communicate well, things like that. But in that list was respectful. You know, I expect a man to be respectful of me. I expect him to be open-minded, and I expect him to understand that what happened before him is none of his concern. It's none of his business. If you want to talk about my past, you don't even qualify to date me. I don't even want to talk to you. All right, because you're talking to the person that's sitting right here, right now. Okay, what happened before doesn't matter. Who I slept with before is none of your business. All right, I'm healthy. I'm fine. If you need to know any more than that, you don't qualify to date me, because I'm looking for men who don't care. And quite frankly, men who are successful with women do not care. Oh, I'm going to say that again. Men who are successful with women do not go around asking them their body count. That is a red pill manosphere thing. It is only a red pill manosphere thing. So when you hear body count and all the other red pill manosphere talking points, know that regular men who are successful with women, who know how to date women, how to treat women well, men who are married, men who are in long-term relationships, yeah, they don't bring up body count. They don't really care. Okay, they care about who you are right now, how you make them feel, how you treat them in a relationship. That's what they look for. Okay, red pill manosphere men are not really looking to date women. They're looking to make women feel bad so they can get women on the cheap. I need her to feel really tiny so I can slide in and we gonna F because that's she not worth much. These are the guys who talk about 304s. These are the guys who talk about all kind of crazy stuff that regular men are like, what in the world are you talking about? Now, I believe personally right now that these men are starting to go down, because what's happening is fewer and fewer women are even dating. They're saying, oh, no, thank you. We're going to wait for the nice guy. We're going to wait for the good guy. We're going to wait for the normal guy. Nobody wants to date Mr. What's your body count? How many kids you got? Nobody wants to date him. All right. And the more of them that listen to Red Pill Manosphere, the more of them there are. And they really have no real sense of how to treat a woman. So all they can think of is, how can I manipulate a woman? And guys who are successful at dating women, that's not how they do it at all. Okay. And so I wanted to make you aware that I thought it was a brilliant strategy, and I've never had this issue come up for me before. I'm old, so I guess that's reasonable. That I really don't. Men my age are like, will you date me? Can we go on it? That's not an issue. When you get older, it's not an issue. Okay, but younger men who sit around and listen to Red Pill and Manosphere content are being told that this is important. I'm only want to date young virginal girls who usually don't want to date these guys, because I won't even say most. I have not seen a Red Pill Manosphere guy who was really kind of dateable. Okay, they are facially challenged a lot of times. They are socially challenged a lot of times. A lot of times they don't have very much education. They don't know how to talk to women. They have taken patriarchy to the level of thinking that they are in control of women they don't even know, that they've never met. And so it's really odd watching them on podcasts, listening to them when they call in, reading their comments, because I sit in on a lot of podcasts. I just sit, quietly in the back. I don't comment. I just listen. And these are the broken men of our society. All right. The broken men of our society who don't know how to date, who don't know how to talk to women, who don't know how to be in relationship with women. Listen to Red Pill Manosphere content and believe every word of it and try and use it on women. Okay. So again, if you joined us late, what we're talking about is how to respond to men who are concerned about your body count. Okay. And I will put in the notes when I publish this, the TikToker who, and I don't know if she has a station here on YouTube. If she does, I'll tag it. But I saw it this morning over on TikTok. And basically what she did is she has a list. And on her list, she has all of the attributes of the men that we want to date. Okay. And on them, it has things like kind, smart, understanding, respectful, men who understand that women had lives before they met you, men who understand that women have bodily autonomy. I am a grown woman. I have bodily autonomy. I sleep with who I want to sleep. All right. And part of that is if a man doesn't understand that, then he thinks he's in control of my body from the time I was born up until the time I meet him. It's like, no, that's not how this works. I have bodily autonomy. I get to sleep with who I want to, just like you get to sleep with whoever you want to. I don't care. And what it does is it cuts off the manipulation ability of men who think that if I bring up body count, that I can manipulate a woman into sleeping with me because I value her less. And this kind of goes along with that rating system, you know, you're 10 or you're 5 or whatever. That and in some of the podcasts they talk about that, where, well, if you have slept with a lot of men, then you can't be more than a 3 or 4. It doesn't matter how you look. It's like, oh wow, really? So they are kind of backward in their thinking. It doesn't matter who you are right now. Okay, these men are judging you based on what you did in the past, and that's a horrible thing. And the fact of the matter is, they also say at the same time, we want a virginal woman, but we also want a woman that can get down in the bedroom and do all that freaky stuff, which makes no sense at all. How you gonna be freaky in the bedroom and be a virgin? That's not even possible, because you don't even. But that, of course, the rational is not something that we see out here going on. So her argument is okay, when he, and the gentleman that she was debating was saying, okay, his preference is a woman with a low body count. All right. And she said, oh, okay, my preference is a man who understands that I have bodily autonomy. I can sleep with who I want, who's open-minded, and understands that, you know, I did what I did before I met you. And so you are not my preference. Men who bring up body count are not our preference. And telling him that, he really was stumped. He said over and over again, but what about my preference? And she said, your preference is fine. If that's your preference to have a woman with a low body count, that's fine. We're not even going to discuss that. We're okay with that. Okay. But the fact that you are bringing up my body count as something that you are considering as a part of why you should or shouldn't date me, that disqualifies you from dating me, because I don't date men who bring up my body count. If you want to know about it, if you want to talk about it, if you wanted to discuss it, that automatically disqualifies you from my dating pool. Just like it would disqualify you if you were an abusive man, or a man that was homeless, or who had 10 babies. All those things disqualify you as being a potential person for me to date. If you want to know about my body count, I will not date you. You are disqualified, and that is my personal preference. Okay, let's see what the comments say. Yes, exactly. They disqualify themselves. Paris. So do not feel bad if you come upon these men. I thought this was an excellent response, and I totally agree, because I can't even imagine talking to a man who wants to talk about my body count. It's none of your business. What I did before I met you is none of your business. And if you cannot get over that, then there's no point in us dating, because what you're not gonna do is try and torture me because, oh, well, you slept with all these men and you did this. What? I'm not about to permit that. So that's why we're not going to discuss my body. My body count is none of your business. Okay, if you bring it up, if you want to talk about it, no, it's nothing to talk about, and I don't want to date you, because that is the plan. The plan is manipulation. Always remember that. When they bring up body count, it's manipulation. It is a method to devalue a woman. It is a method to make her feel bad about herself. It is a point of control where, hey, you did this, so I don't have to treat you well. Because and there was a video out not too long ago where a man was saying that, hey, you've been with all these men, you should be giving it up to me the first date. There are men who said that in a video. On the first, because you slept with other men, you should be giving it up to me on the first date. So it's like, no. But that is how the thinking is. You're welcome, Cheyenne. Paris, I'm gonna put you on a timeout. I don't know what you're trying to say, but next time you're out. All right. So that's where we are on body count. If they bring it up, tell them that you have disqualified yourself from my dating pool just by needing to know, because you're not going to bring up my past against me. You're not going to manipulate me, and it has become a big discussion point in red pill manosphere circles. The rest of the world don't care. Guys who successfully date, they'll tell you, we don't care. We don't care. All right. It is only these men who care about that stuff, like they care about. That was the last one. I think the last one I talked about, or one of the last ones I talked about, was the men who talk about how they don't want to date single mothers. Well, good. We don't want to date you either. If you are a man who doesn't want to date single women, then, or doesn't want to date the single mothers, then single mothers don't want to date you, because we want men who are accepting of our children. So this is how you have to view it when you come across these jokers. Hi, Shalom. How are you? Cheyenne, Shalom. Hello, hello. All right. So, this is going to be kind of brief. I apologize for starting late. I was trying to buy food and ended up in a food line for like a half hour. I was the second, third person in line. I didn't understand that. But whatever was going on, somebody was mad. At any rate, thank you so much for coming to my live. And if there's any other topics you want to talk about, let me know. I know. I want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys so much. I was sick for 3 weeks. I had a cough and could barely speak for 3 weeks and could barely walk. I don't know what I had, but it was filling my chest up with so much fluid that I was just breathless a lot. But it is so much better now. I should be able to continue on going to the gym in the morning. Today is Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday. I should be good with that, because I'm missing going to the gym a lot. And it has been 3 weeks. That's a long time for me to miss it. So thank you so much for you guys. Yep, it's just been so busy. But we're in September now, and things are moving forward. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.